We're here at Donington Park for the decider weekend of the Marangoni Tyres Production BMW Championships in association with QuickFit. The championship is renowned for its closeness, and the battle between the top spots couldn't be any closer. Ladies and gents, hold on to your seats, because this is going to be an exciting show. Right, Ben, so just a very short while now before race one of this weekend's finale of the championship. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good to be honest. Had a really good morning. Managed to put it on pole. A little bit of a margin as well, which is nice. A little bit more than we were hoping for, to be honest. So we'll wait and see what happens. It's
a pretty good start, isn't it, then? So, right, talk us through the championship points. You're doing pretty well, aren't you? Puts you ahead of Tovi effectively. But will it be a good battle between the two of you?
Yeah, it should be close. We have a rule in the championship which means we can drop 2 rounds. So our worst point scoring rounds. So, I mean, with that in account, I think we've still got a 6-point jump on Mike. So, to be honest, I can afford to follow him to the flag in both races today. But that's not the way I'd like to win a championship. So we'll be going for it like normal.
Yeah, it's been a season-long battle between me and Ben, nose to tail. It's been a good season, but it's obviously come down to the last round, and we'll see how we can get on against him.
And what's the situation? Because Ben's got quite a good drop score, doesn't he? How does that put you? What sort of pressure does that put you under?
Yeah, it means he's pulled 6 points in front of us, which is frustrating. I mean, we both had a DNF. Working out on the points and that, I just need to finish in front of him by as many places as possible, and I need to take the fastest lap as well.
And you did, of course, have a fantastic victory here last year, so are you feeling confident?
Yeah, epic battle last year with Ben and Tim Wilson. I'm confident in this circuit. I think it's a circuit that suits my car. Obviously Ben's put it on pole today, but not by a lot. But I'll put it to him later on and see what we can do for the championship.
Okay, we're here on the grid. It's race 1 of this weekend's final of the Marangoni Tyres Production BMW Championships. Ben Winrow is up here on pole position. Mike Tovi is second on the grid with just 1 second splitting the top 5. This is going to be a fantastic race.
This is just what we wanted to see. The championship protagonists in a head-to-head and sharing the front row, but it's very competitive behind them with Tim Wilson and Liam Crilly, a very strong row 2, and Stuart Waite and Matt Parks, both potential race winners on row 3 of what is, as ever, a gigantic grid here in the Marangoni Tyres Production BMW Championship in association with QuickFit. Donington Park in car with Harry Goodman as the red lights flash out, and away we go. And it's a good getaway from Goodman, but the rest of the field moves off well too, so it's going to be very tight as they head towards Redgate for the first time of asking. But Ben Winrow in the white car converts pole into that early advantage. Mike Tovi, though, in second place, and then Liam Crilly going elbow to elbow with Tim Wilson, and it's Crilly in the red car who slides out wide. Does well not to spin there, but he rejoins with the loss of several places just alongside Matt Swaffer in car 145 as they all fan out down through the crane of curves, and already Winrow and Tovi are making their escape the head of the field. And then it's everybody's race for third position. It's Wilson just from Waite, then Parks and Goodman. As we've got a spin, it's Tim Wilson who exits across the bows of Matthew Parks with those Marangoni tyres lighting up. So Harry Goodman gains the position as Mike Tovi pressurises Ben Winrow, crawls all over his tail, but he's going to have to work very hard to find a way through here. Winrow knows a thing or two about defensive driving, and the driving standards of this championship very, very closely policed, with drivers really picking up quite severe sanctions, what's perceived to be unnecessary contact. So, as ever, it's going to have to be fought out very cleanly on the track. Harry Goodman, though, having not had a superb getaway, is now running very nicely in 4th position on tail. Matthew Parks as Tovi jinks out of the slipstream behind Ben Winrow as they hit the brakes into the fog. Yes, there's no way through there, though, for Tovi. The only thing Winrow, though, gets a better run through the chicane. Harry Goodman fighting the wheel in pursuit of Matthew Parks. Heads into the braking zone for the Melbourne Loop. Thinks about looking to the inside, does more than think, dives to the inside. Has he gained the place? That was a late lunge there from Goodman, but it's been enough. He climbs up into third position. Now, will he be able to hold that en route towards Goddards? Well, Parks, you can see the back of the shot, he's trying to look to the inside line as Tovi crawls all over the tail of Ben Winrow. work through the left-hander at Goddard's and on to complete the first lap as the fight for third as Goodman runs wide, and Harry Goodman in the blink of an eye is going to drop from third to fifth. It promotes Matthew Parks in car 138. That's the green trimmed white machine, and then also Stuart Waite in with an opening. So we've got these superb battles going on, the one for the championship of the race overall, and then this squabble going on for third position as Harry Goodman dives to the inside of Stuart Waite, reclaims fourth after that mistake at Goddard's, and Waite gets it all wrong at the exit, very nearly loses the rear of the car as he planted his right foot to try and get the car straightened up. And on the mud here, Donington Park, very tricky, and really, although it's glorious sunshine, it's actually very chilly, and it's been raining pretty hard in the run-up to this weekend, and therefore once the drivers get onto the grass, it really is going to be very slippery for them. The rest of the field streaming through, making an absolutely magnificent sight, although somebody having a little bit of fun. I think that is possibly Alex Green, who gets it all sideways going through the crane of curves. Ring car with Harry Goodman all over the tail of Matthew Parks, and Goodman has really got the pace, but has he got the consistency? Because we saw a lap ago Goodman able to find his way past Parks, and a corner later he lost that advantage. He gets a good run heading along the back straight on towards 40S's. Matthew Parks though just moving slightly inside the road, doing everything that he needs to do to cover that line into the 40S's. No way through for Goodman, who rides over the curves and again onto the Melbourne hairpin. This time though, Parks is prepared for Goodman. He moves to the inside of the road. Harry Goodman maybe not going to be able to chance his arm this time, whether he does think about a late look to the inside of Matthew Parks. Now will that hurt his exit, because he really took a very tight line in? No, it doesn't, and that really again demonstrates that Goodman has got the pace in that car this weekend. He's just got to find a way past Matthew Parks, and that will see him climbing up onto the podium, with Goodman again diving to the inside into Goddard's, and this time it's Parks who's slithers slightly wide. Can Goodman capitalise? No, I don't think he quite can, but again a run in the slipstream, maybe into Redgate corner. It's always though a false overtaking opportunity rather into Redgate, because it's a very late turn in, so you think there's a gaping hole on the inside, and then your rival turns across and you realise that there isn't quite the room that you thought there'd be. Liam Crilly has moved up ahead of Stuart Waite, and then we've got the super battle being headed by the bright blue car. That is Jack Gabriel. There's a little group of cars, including Miles Howard as part of that, head through Redgate. We've still got this fight for third position though. Is using all of the curb, maybe a little bit more. Matthew Parks doing everything he can to try and peel the buffer over Harry Goodman, but Goodman seems to have maybe slightly better handling as Parks pushes too hard and round he goes off onto the grass next to the old hairpin. And well, we saw that he was using all of the curbs on the way into the old hairpin, maybe just overstepping the mark on the exit. Now let's see in car Harry Goodman. There you see a big bite of curb from Parks, then he hits the brakes into the old hairpin. See what he does, he misses the apex by a long way, tries to compensate, two wheels on the mud, and around he goes. Harry Goodman lucky to avoid him, and Matthew Parks hopes for podium. All rather shot as we've got, as ever in this championship, frenetic fighting going on a little bit lower down the order as they all sprint towards Redgate corner. That's Ian Francis in the 67 car, who's the head of that train. Also looking to make ground is David Graves in car 33, as we follow these cars. They're all fighting about 20th position through Redgate corner, and then swooping down through the crane of curves. Paul Brooks, part of that scrap, still though headed by Ian Francis, and he cannot afford to make an error because he'll probably lose about 10 places in one fell swoop as they all tip through the old hairpin, sprint on towards Starkey's Bridge, as the race leader Ben Winrow still in command of this. He's just shaken off Mike Toby, but only by the smallest of margins, and this is a championship that is often decided by hundredths and thousandths of a second over a single lap. So evenly matched are these runners. Into the Melbourne hairpin then for the final time, and Ben Winrow leading the way, and if he is able to take this to the checkered flag, that will be enough to give him not only the race victory but also the 2012 Marangoni Tyres Production BMW Championship to build in his Clio Cup and our Bath Trofeo titles. So he heads into Goddard's for the final time, and it is going to be Ben Winrow who'll win the race and claim the crown. It's been a wonderful season's racing from Winrow, and last year's champion Mike Tovey follows him over the line. Tovey well set to be runner-up in the standings as Winrow celebrates, punches the air in delight, and it really has been an excellent season's duel between the pair of them. So let's take a look at the final results with the win for Winrow and then Toby in second. Harry Goodman holding on to complete the podium from Liam Crilly and Stuart Waite. Smile of relief and celebration on the podium for Ben Winrow. Mike Tovey, magnanimous in defeat, and a delighted Goodman completes the rostrum.
Winner of race 1, and not only that, winner of the championship. How are you feeling?
Yeah, really good. That's what we came here to do. Really didn't want it to roll over into the second race with a load of pressure. So yeah, I've been told, big thanks to Andy for his tips on the start. They must have worked, because got a killer start, got a nose in front, and then it's just a case of getting a head down, checking a gap to Mike. He made a little small error at the old hairpin, which gave us a little bit of a gap as well. So then it was just a case of ease off, stay off the curbs, bring it home safe.
Yeah, I had a good race. A little bit disappointed now the championship's obviously been wrapped up with that. I was on his heels for the first half of the race. A silly mistake by me coming out of old hairpin, went on the grass, and he had that little gap. I just couldn't recoup it. It would have been nice to have a go and challenge to get in the lead, but it just wasn't possible.
That was stupendous. Much better than I expected. I was lucky in the end because Matt fell off, and it was a great race. I got ahead of him, he got ahead of me, and then he fell off. But it was just fantastic. I can't tell you. After all these years.
You must be really chuffed. It really did look like quite a battle. So what's your plans for next year?
More of the same, I hope. How could you pick anything better than this? This is a fantastic series. The tyres are great, the cars are great, the people are great. It's just a fantastic series.
Well, that's it for part 1. Ben Winrow not only wins the race, but also wins the 2012 Marangoni Tyres Production BMW Championships. But the battle commences. Join us again in part 2, where we've got 4 drivers thrashing it out for 3rd place. See you after the break.